All right, so my friends, welcome. Set review, Alchemy, Arena-only set, digital-only cards. Clutch your pearls, folks. Clutch them good. All right, we did white, we did blue. Now we're doing black. We also did the the nerfed and buffed cards, as well as my thoughts on the format. Please go watch that on YouTube. If you missed it. If you're watching on Twitch, it'll be on there tonight as well. And we're rocking and rolling here at black. Again, this is a digital-only set for the new Alchemy format on Arena. A lot of cool digital designs here. I'm a big fan of these designs. Not a fan of the economy, but let's keep rocking and rolling here with our first card here in Assemble from Parts. Kind of an obtuse card. 1 black instant. Target your card in your graveyard. Perpetually gains 4 mana. Exile this card from your graveyard. Shuffle it into your library. Make a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 zombie. Additions other types, only as a sorcery. So we have a really, really weird, kind of backwards ass zombify variant here. Again, perpetual mechanic puts the literal text onto the card forever. So if you draw it again, it'll still have the text on it, which is kind of cool, honestly, kind of cool. And this is an interesting reanimation effect. Obviously, we can do this, end step, loot away something, blood something, cast this, turn 4, pop your thing into play. That's kind of cool. There are plenty of good cards to get. There's the slug and whatever. So this card's kind of cool. In that respect. And again, if you find the card again after you whatever and discard it again, it'll still have the ability, which is really, really cool. Again, I love the perpetual mechanic. I think it's super, super cool. I love the idea of altering a card, but just that card for just the game. Super, super cool. But yeah, this card's sweet. This card's sweet. Probably the best reanimation spell in the format. Does that mean it's good? I mean, not necessarily, because there aren't many good reanimation spells in the format, but this card's super cool. I like it a lot. I'm sure I'll play with it. With the slug to reanimate, it's a pretty good target. Card's sweet. Then historic Fauna Shaman, sure, it's kind of cool. So, card's cool. Moving on to our next card here in Break Expectations. It's Spellbook time, folks. 1 black sorcery. Target player reveals all cards with mana value 2 or greater in their hand. Choose a card from those cards, exile that card. If you do exile a card this way, your opponent gets to draft a card from the Break Expectations Spellbook. And again, kind of crazy mechanic. I vomited in my mouth a little when I first saw it, but I'm really coming around on it. 15 card Spellbook goes along with this card. And your opponent will be shown 3 of them when you cast the spell. And they get to choose one, and it gets conjured into their hand. So, this is a weird one because most Spellbook cards are you getting a card for yourself. This one is turning their best card into a bad card they might not want. And it's quite the pile of cards here for the Spellbook. So, we have Colossal Plow. We've got Millstone. We've got Whirler Maker. We've got Magistrate Scepter. Replicating Ring. Raiders Brett Favre. Weapon Rack. Relic Amulet. Let's get down here a little bit. Relic Amulet for instant sorceries. Oraska Relic. Probably the most basic, simple card you can get. 50 Feet of Rope. Not a very good card. Pyre of Heroes. Pretty cool card for some decks. Chest. Not a great card, but kind of cool. Leather Armor. Not very great, but again, kind of like an okay card. Pitch Trap. And Ginger Brute. So, a real murderer's row here of powerful magic cards. And you get to turn your opponent's card into one of these cards. That's pretty good. In Historic, there's Thoughtseize and Inquisition, whatever. But in Standard, there isn't an effect like that. And a lot of these cards, I think Replicating Ring, the Amulet, the Relic, these are definitely reasonable cards. There's a lot of whiffs here, though, for sure. But it's still a card. It's still, I think people really underestimate how much a card is. And you are 2 for 1ing yourself, but the card they're getting may not be functional, So if it's not really a functional card and they can't make use of the actual piece of cardboard, it basically is Thoughtseize. So kind of a cool card. Don't underestimate the power of a random card because it's still a card. It still does something. But kind of a cool card. We'll probably see playing standard. I imagine historic. You just play Thoughtseize or whatever, but yeah, and I agree. It is kind of cool, but like, as far from a fun standpoint, your opponent just has this Raiders carve now, and a card they would never put in their deck, and it's just gonna be in play sometime, which is really cool. You know, or Spike Pit Trap, Ginger Brute, and like that's really really fun. You know, this is one of the cards that kind of turned me around in the Spellbook mechanic, which I really hated at first, but I see a card like this, and I imagine playing with it, and it seems really, really cool and really, really fun. So, card seems cool. I like it a lot. Really breaking my expectations of a set. But yeah, cool card. Cool card for sure. Our next card here is City Stalker Connoisseur. 4 mana for a 3/3. What was that? I'm sorry, what? We have our sleeper card, folks. 4 mana for a 3/3 Death Touch. Not super good. Not super good. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards the card or a card with the greatest mana value among cards in their hand. So right at the bat, it's 2 for 1. You play it, they lose their biggest spell. That's really good. It also make a blood token. This is a lot of value for a 4-drop. This is a really, really solid mid-range card. Comes into play, it gets presumably their best spell out of their hand. It's a great blocker, and it makes a blood to make your draws better as well. I think this card's awesome. I think this card's really, really good. It's a super good mid-range card. It's a vampire, which is somewhat relevant. The blood token is super awesome. I think this card's great. I think this card is really, really great. And it's the kind of card where you look at it like, it's a hill giant. It's going to play much, much better than that. Slam dunk sleeper pick for me. Card's super cool. And again, like, you just play this and get their best card. You just hit their Ghoulcaller Dragon. It's just gone. You know, this is not a Ravenous Rat. This is like, it's going to hit a spell, and it's going to hit probably their best spell every single time. Might as well be a Thoughtseize on a creature, which is kind of cool. So, card's super cool. Blocks really well. Flood insurance. Card's awesome. Not much to say. It's a pretty simple card, but I think this card's super, super awesome. Love it. Oops. Moving on to Cursebound Witch. This card's really, really good. This card is Eye Twitch on steroids. And Eye Twitch has seen a lot of play in this format. A 1 mana 1/2. And when it dies, draft a card from the Spellbook. Well, what's in the Spellbook, Jim? Let's find out. Witch's Cauldron. Not a very good one. Okay, but not very good. Witch's Vengeance. Conditionally, really, really good. Witch's Oven. Yeah, everybody's like it. Witch's Cottage. You can get a land off it, which is pretty sweet. Witch's Familiar. I mean, it's not good, but hey, it's a creature. It's fine, you know. Curse of Leeches. Kind of a cool card here if you're control players and stuff like that. Little Daybound, Nightbound action. Of course, Cauldron Familiar, so it's possible to set up Cat Oven in Standard right now, which is a little weird. Black Cat, just a fine piece of value, whatever. Sorcerer's Broom, it's 2/1 for 2, whatever. The Bat, just a card. Remember, think of these Spellbook cards like Lesson Learn. The cards don't need to be that good. It's still just great card advantage. This card just seems freaking awesome. Anatomy. You get a big boomer here in Cruel Reality. So if you're mana flooded, you can get a big boomer. Torment of Scarabs. Okay card. Curse, also an okay card. So that's in Alchemy, sorry, not Standard, my bad. So this card's really freaking good. Again, think about Eye Twitch and think about how the cards you get with Eye Twitch are not exactly bombs, you know, pest summoning and whatever, but the value's there for sure. I think this card's awesome. I think this card's super, super cool. This card's great. It's just really, really good. And I agree. My initial response to the Spellbook mechanic was bile. I was like, oh, I hate this. It's just so many words, so many cards to think about. It's all in the client. You look at it right there. The cards pop up. And I think that the benefit of making the games really interesting as far as like unexpected things happening, but in the context of a game, it's not random like, blah, 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 here's Cascade. It's just like, there's a subset of things that could happen, and I have to choose from a smaller subset of things, and my opponent will choose. I don't know. It just seems cool. I don't know. I played with it yet. It looks really cool, though. Card seems very, very good. Card is very, very good. So that's my best in show for black. Cursebound Witch, 1 mana cards are always awesome. A lot of the cards in this set are just like 3 and 4 mana, like reasonably statted creatures, which aren't always great for constructed. So the 1 mana cards are huge. Huge. Moving on. Our next card here is Gutmorn Pactbound Servant. Get the old reading glasses out. 3 mana for a 1/3 flying Death Touch. So pretty good body, honestly. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each player discards a non-land card. Okay. Whenever a player discards a card during your turn, they choose another player. That player conjures a duplicate of that card into their hand. Perpetually gains, you may send mana as the mana of any color. So basically what this card does is each player discards a card and you swap the card with your opponent. So whatever card you discard, they get into their hand. Whatever card they discard, you get into your hand. Why would that be good? I don't know, honestly. Kind of a crazy, wacky card. If you're looking to put cards in your graveyard, it's important to note that the physical card doesn't go into their hand. They conjure a copy of it. So if I discard my Slug Legendary Toxra whatever guy in my Reanimator deck, they'll get one in their hand, which can't do much, and then I can reanimate it later, which is still there, which is kind of cool. So as far as like, you know, both-sided discard outlets go, it's kind of cool. If you're able to use it in that respect, where I'm discarding this card for value that you probably can't use, and then I'm going to get a card from you that I maybe can use, that's pretty sweet. And then also plays well with like Duress and things like that too. So it's kind of a cool card. It's kind of weird in that I don't know what deck like wants this card, but it's kind of cool. A little convoluted, but I don't know. It's a card, whatever. Patient Zero is next. 2 mana for a 2/2 lifelink zombie. Damage isn't removed from creatures your opponents control during cleanup steps. So effectively gives Wither kind of to your damage. Kind of a cool card. Will play well with burn spells, obviously. Sort of like a Soulscar Mage Wither kind of card. It doesn't remove their power, obviously, like Wither would. It's a decent but unexciting body here as a 2/2 lifelinker for 2. I don't really know like what this card does that you actively want in your constructed deck. Like, it's only good in creature mirrors, and even then they can just kill it or something. I don't know. I just don't think this card's very good. If the body's relevant, if you're playing like a zombie deck and you want a 2-drop that has lifelink and you're going to pump it up or whatever, sure. But, It does work with decay zombies, that is true. So your decay zombies now can't be chump block forever. That's kind of cool, but I don't think that's good enough. You know, and even if you're blocking, say I have a 4/4 and you have a 2/2 and you have this card, you attack me, I can still block and kill your 2/2 and then I keep a 2/2, whatever, you know, it's not that bad. So it's a weird card. Why isn't it red? That's weird. I don't know. Moving on to Predatory Sludge, 3 mana for a 3/3 menace. Again, as I said, most of these cards are like 3 mana and 4 mana kind of whatevers. When it comes to the battlefield, choose a permanent you don't control. When that permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, conjure a card named Predatory Sludge into your hand. So kind of like what's that guy called? The Golgari 1/3, where you put a bounty on something, and if you kill it, you get a bonus. And then the bonus is drawing another sludge. Plays well with removal. Plays well with I guess it's a permanent you don't control. So if you can kill their planeswalker or whatever. But the reality here is that like a 3/3 menace for 3 with no relevant card types that might draw you another 3/3 that you have to cast in a conditional sense is like pretty bad. It would have been a fun limited card, but all in all, it's pretty bad. Up next is Puppet Razor. It's a trap! 4 mana for a 3/3 zombie wizard. Beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard. If you do, seek a creature card with mana value equal to the mana value of that card plus 1. and it gains menace. We have a really weird sort of like birthing pod to hand from your graveyard effect on a 3/3 for 4. This can obviously draw you a card every turn in theory, but it requires you to play a 3/3 for 4, not die, not have it die, have a creature in your graveyard, have a creature in your deck that you want to get that costs one more than the creature in your graveyard. It just like, the hoops here are astounding on a 4-mana 3/3. Not good enough at all. Your opponent's casting Goldspan Dragon and Orange Epiphany, or Seeker's Chariot, and you're playing this freaking crappy card. So, yeah, this card sucks. Sorry. Super conditional Seraph's Packmate, basically. Comes into play, might draw a spell, probably won't. This card sucks. Sanguine Brushstroke. Really cool card. Really cool card. Could have been in play for Best in Show, I think. Black 1, enchantment. Enters the battlefield, make a blood, and conjure a card named Blood Artist right onto the battlefield. So, of course, Blood Artist, for those who don't know, I'll bring it up for you. Blood Artist is a card that is legal and historic, and is a pretty good card, honestly. And it's a 2-drop. There's Blood Artist for you. Sorry, it's not the right size, but whatever. And it's an 0/1 that drains your opponent whenever things die. So that's your Blood Artist. And this is a 3-mana Blood Artist. That's also a blood token. And whenever you sacrifice a blood token, you also drain too. So, pretty cool card. Pretty cool card. Good for like drainy aristocratic decks. Obviously, the blood token is really cool. I mean, the artist is cool. The random blood value here and there is kind of cool as well. And I saw Croquis was playing a deck today with this in it and like a bunch of cheap, crappy, sacrificey stuff. Looks really cool. Probably going to be something similar for my 5 new brews tomorrow. But just a cool card. Just a cool card. Kind of obvious where it goes. It goes where Blood Artist goes. There is no Blood Artist in the format, so this is a Blood Artist. That's kind of cool. And if you were to Flicker this, you would get another Blood Artist, yes, which is pretty cool. So, cool. Screw enchantments. Creatures that make enchantments. This is an enchantment that makes a creature. Love it. Love it. Hunter Pence with the resub. What's up, Hunter? How's it going, my friend? And yeah, kind of a cool card. Kind of a cool card. And yeah, looks sweet. Definitely one of the better cards in the set for black. Definitely, for sure. Moving on to Sap Vitality. Super cool card. Although I have no idea. Like, no idea why this card's black and not red. Couldn't tell you. Except for the flavor of, like, I guess I'm, like, stealing your power, but screw that, whatever. Black instant. 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Choose a creature card in your hand, and it perpetually gains +3/+0. Again, I love their perpetual mechanic. I think it's super awesome. And really cool, especially if you're able to do a card like, say, Skyclave Shade, where now you have a 5/1 Skyclave Shade that comes back over and over again, which is super awesome too. So really cool card. Obviously a bit narrow in the sense that it costs black. You got to play, or 6/1, sorry. You got to play it in a deck that wants to kill creatures, more of a sideboard card, but very powerful. Very powerful, super cool card. Narrow in scope, but very high potential. And the floor here is just like, you just kill your opponent's creature. Whatever. Like, I kill your pack leader or whatever. Sure. You know, so cool card. Yeah, card sweet. Up next is Veteran Ghoulcaller. It's mana for a 2/1 menace. Whenever a card in your graveyard is put into your hand, conjure a duplicate of that card into your hand. Not a lot of things put cards into your hand, and most that are cards from your graveyard to your hand, and most that do aren't great. This card kind of sucks. It's, you know, low rate, low payoff. Requires you to have cards in your graveyard. Requires you to have a way to put the cards back in from your graveyard to your hand. Just like so many hoops for not much payoff. It's not a very good card. And that's it. That's black. So only 10 black cards? No, there's yeah, that's it. So that's it for black. Moving on to red, of course. Again, this is a complete set review for Alchemy. First time here, make sure you hit that follow button. YouTube folks, like, comment, subscribe. We did my thoughts on the format and the nerfed cards, white, blue, and black. Red is next. YouTube folks, love you. Like, comment, subscribe. See you soon.